What's up, everybody? Justin Lester here, aka That Tech Pastor. I'm so glad you guys are tuned into my channel today, and have some really cool things I want to share with you guys today. So today we're jumping into NotebookLM. This is to me a goated tool right now for churches, for businesses, for organizations. I've seen different use cases. I'm going to show you one in particular from my church, but there's some churches I've worked with that have had use cases on NotebookLM that have grown from the onboarding process for human resources to just simply engaging with people in terms of understanding the organization to marketing and media, deep research. I've seen collegiate students use it to put a bunch of articles in and to dive into it. It's taking a bunch of tools and putting it together on Gemini, Google's Gemini platform. It's an amazing platform, one of the better research platforms. And then there's so much you can create. So what I'm going to do the next couple of minutes, I'm going to show you how to use NotebookLM, how to set up your NotebookLM, the sources you can bring into your NotebookLM, and I'm going to do it by showing you an actual use case from my church right now at Friendship in Vallejo. So my name is Justin Lester. I'm That Tech Pastor. Be sure you guys are liking and subscribing to our channel. We got like 5,000 subscribers. I'm trying to get to 10,000 by the end of the month of April. So hopefully you guys can help me get to 10,000. So if you're on this channel, please share this with someone. Like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. I'm trying to give you the business for your business, and I'm going to do a better job this year of long form videos to make sure that we can share more and show you some stuff behind the scenes that I'm working on as well. So right now, I'm going to show you the goated tool, from my opinion, right now for churches to use, which is NotebookLM free with Google Gemini. Let's jump right into it. We jump into NotebookLM to start with. This is what it'll give you. You have an opportunity to put in sources. You can see you can upload files, put in websites, and this is what we're going to play with because this is where you can put YouTube videos. So for churches, you can put copies of your worship experience directly into here under websites. You can add in a Google Drive, and Google Drive becomes your knowledge base, or you can copy and paste text directly in. They added this a couple of weeks ago where you can use the web for research, and you can use deep research and fast research on the web to be a source for you. So you can do deep research, create a report. It'll be the source for you. You can search the internet and that'll be a source for you as well. Super cool. And I'm going to show you a use case that we actually use in our church where we're going to utilize copy text and YouTube links from the sermons I preach as a way, as a knowledge base for our church to do study for our church. So as I go here, one of the things our church did is that we use NotebookLM for our small groups. So our discipleship leader, amazing woman named Stephanie, my sermons will be finished. She'll take my sermon transcript, place it into NotebookLM, and then from that NotebookLM, she'll then take it. She has certain prompts that we worked on together for each demographic and each age group, and those age groups get different lessons based upon my sermon. So I believe for pastors that if God has given you a word for your people, you don't need to go find all these other sources or places to get the gospel from. That if God gave you a word for your people, that word should live beyond Sunday. Most people forget your sermons by Tuesday. So now my sermon becomes our small group curriculum. It becomes everybody's curriculum going forward to disciple people. And it becomes a chance for our people to actually have chats with it as well on NotebookLM. And I'll show you how you can do that. But here's where we are. So here's where we are. This is the guide that we have here for the Zechariah Look Again study guide. I'm pushing the book of Zechariah. It's called Look Again. I'm going to show you this interface. So you can see, first of all, over here, you can see the study again, which is the study guide I put together that breaks down the entire book of Zechariah. I give this to my church every time we do a series. I just give them a deep research guide on the book that we're studying. So right now we're studying the book of Zechariah. You can see I preach week 1, Zechariah. I was out week 2. This is week 3 from last Sunday. And while we're here, I'm going to put in week 4. So I'm going to go get my story. So you're seeing me do this actually the Friday before I'm preaching. So if you're watching this, whenever you're watching this, this is the couple of days before I actually preach this. I get my manuscripts done early. I'm going to show you how to add the source. So this is literally what I'm going to send Stephanie. I'm going to go add sources. We're going to go to copy text. I'm going to paste the text in, which is my manuscript. And we're going to insert it. And you're going to see here immediately how this is going to add Zechariah chapter 4 directly to this, which is pasted text. I'm going to rename the source Zechariah. So now we've added Zechariah into the study guide, added Zechariah into this nest egg, and you can see here what people can do. So the first easiest thing, obviously your sources, then you have the chat. So if anybody wanted to have a chat with any of my sermons, it's not going to go to the web. It's literally going to just pull from my sermons. So I can say, explain to me how to build a better foundation in my home with my children. So now what it's going to do is going to search all the times I talked about this in my sermon series thus far. I don't know if I did too much. It's going to infer a little bit of things probably and then give it back. And if I didn't, it wouldn't give me the answer. So we'll see what it says as it so I talk. So here's the thing. I did speak about generational trauma. I did speak about family issues. I did speak about healthy habits. So you can see here, it's not just going to give you anything. It's going to reference what I talked about and then give you that. So you can see here literally. So when I preached on this, that's how difficult and hard this conversation probably would be for some families. But generational things, commit to repair, protect your children from unprocessed pain, get out of their way. This is literally what I preached on, which gives them that source, which is pretty cool. Now, what makes Notebook LM different, which is why I'm saying it's such a goated tool, is this part here. So the studio. The studio for me is so amazing because the studio, you're able to do so much. So I'm going to explain each of them and then I'm going to show you what they actually look like and sound like. So first of all, you have the audio overview. The audio overview is probably the most viral one. This is where people are able to make podcasts. So you're able to take your sermon itself, take that lesson, take it, and then make it an audio overview to go and make a podcast. I'll show you that at the end. Next, you have a slide deck, which the slide deck is a chance for you to actually make PowerPoint slides, which will be Google's based upon Google's Nano Banana. And so you're able to make PowerPoint slides, great images. You can prompt it, and I'll show you that. Video overview as well. That's the same thing, similar to slide deck, except now it's going to be video, and there's different ways you can do those videos. A mind map, which a mind map will help people navigate through each of those topics you talk about. Reports you can generate, which is a briefing doc, finance teams or financial institutions, academic institutions. I think this is a really good tool. Flashcards to study. So for students, this is great because you have a chance to study something. Quiz function where you're able actually to allow this to teach you and make sure that you're comprehending what you're learning. And then lastly, an infographic. An infographic will make a picture for you. And some of the more viral pictures you guys have seen recently from people, those are the infographics. I'm going to show you how to prompt these. And then lastly, a data table as well. And a data table is just simply going to take the concrete stuff, give you an Excel spreadsheet of what you're talking about. So let me go through these. I'm going to do the ones without sound first, and then I'll go through the ones with sound. So if you want to make a slide deck, here's a trick to making a slide deck. So you want to start here where you can see here it says slide deck. Don't just click it because it'll make a basic slide deck. The way around that is to click here. When you click the arrow, you can choose a couple of things. Do you want a detailed deck, which is going to give you a lot of details, a lot of information, or do you want presenter slides? And the presenter slides are going to give you a chance to simply get the core information to present. You can prompt what you want it to look like. So do you want certain colors? Do you want it to look like a certain type of presentation? Do you want it to be childlike? Do you want it to be adult driven? This is the slip here to me where you can make these slides to be more custom to what you feel is going to be best for your organization and best for you. Where I see a lot of people miss it. And what I did on here, just to show you how it's good, but it's not great, is we just say make slides. Instead of you prompting, this deck is for who, the colors I need are X, the things I really want are Y. And when you do that, you're going to see a much better presentation come from your slide deck. So then if we were to make our slide deck here, so the slide deck that I created, I just clicked the button, is this one right here. Now it's still really good. And you can see as we look at this, how good this slide deck actually is. So you can see, look again, the golden blueprint in the rubble, and we're going through Zechariah. And you can see the text is really good. So if we zoom in on the text is really good. You don't see any mess ups, any hallucinations inside of this. You can see all like just really how cool this stuff turns out. So on a general sense, this is still a really good presentation. We could customize it anymore, but you can see the ways that I preach, the things I've covered. Yeah, you know, how great this is. It's pretty cool. So now, if my church wanted to take this, we can make it for kids, we can make it for whatever. This is Nano Banana making you these slides. You can take these, put them into Google Sheets, and have some fun with it. It's a pretty cool piece here, and we're going to close this slide deck. All right. So that's the first thing. That's for slide decks. The next one we'll look at is a mind map. So mind maps to me are pretty cool. This is a way for people to have a study of the book. So you can see, we go here, look again, study. So you can see every time I talked about big ideas, context, the prophet, Zechariah, book structure, whatever. So let's say somebody wanted to learn more about the historical context, again, based upon what I preached. Let's go the political landscape of the time. And let's see, we want to talk about Persian rule. And so now that right there is then going to signify to the chat that we want to talk about a certain thing. And so now signifying to the chat, we're going to do this. The chat's now going to find us everything on Persian rule and now discuss it based upon how I explained what this was. So again, it's not searching the internet. It's not going to look online yet. It's going to look purely at me. If you wanted to add internet search to it, you definitely could. But right now, it's simply me, how I explained it to my people on this. So it's the same thing if you had a bunch of YouTube videos, if you had a bunch of clips, you had a bunch of things from your professor, it's the same thing. It'll pull from what you have. Pretty cool to me. Next, we'll go over to reports. And so reports are another really cool function down here. And so what I did, it made a briefing document. So I told it to make a briefing document, but I'm going to show you what reports actually you can do. So if I click the arrow here, once again, the arrow, there's a bunch of different reports you can make here. So if I wanted to make this a blog post that's easily readable, if I wanted to make this a study guide, that's a short answer quiz, you can see here, essay questions, glossary of key terms. That's a way for some people I've seen, even churches utilize this to help them navigate through certain things someone speaks on to make sure it's easily chewable. A briefing doc that just outlines it, overview, and that's what I made for you to see on the screen today. Or you can create your own. The cool thing is with artificial intelligence now, what Gemini does is it gives you 4 different things here that they think may work for you. So do I want a strategic series framework so that we can now take this as a blueprint? You can see the 4 different ones they gave us: a messianic prophecy roadmap, how all these point to Jesus, symbolic vision primer, all of this. And this is kind of cool because everything I'm preaching on this month is going towards Easter. And then the Pentecost, and Zechariah is just a really great book for that. So you can see how these reports are easily generated, easily created, and ways that you can share these out with others. So we made a briefing doc for our conversation today. And so this briefing document, I'm gonna go down to it, is this. So it's simply going to give us a summary of all the stuff we have and get it together. And so what you're able to do is, let's say you're doing this for a class, let's say you're doing this for a report for work, you're able to take the sources you have and make it into a document. You can see here it's giving us a timeline, it's giving us the patterns and breaking everything down based on what I preached on. So I didn't cover in here because I was gone that week, chapters 2 and 3. So you can see it jumps from chapter 1 and jumps to chapter 4 because I didn't put chapter 2 and 3 in. I wasn't there. Our associates preached. I didn't put that in there. So you can see it's only going up to chapter 4. I just put in the new source. I ran these before I put the source in, but you can see all the things that are consistent and what we're putting into our briefing document here. It's pretty cool. So that's the brief. That's the reports. I would challenge you to play around with that. It'll be easier for your church. What I did at the beginning of our series, we had our study guide. I ran a report to give out to everyone to understand the book of Zechariah based upon my study, based upon notes that I took, based upon things I spoke out for Bible studies, and then just for people to understand the book of Zechariah. This report helps a lot as well. Next, we got flashcards. So flashcards are kind of cool. I don't use them too often, but for those of you who are studying, for those of you who are using things for school, for work, or whatever, literally here, like, what is the literal meaning of Zechariah? And I'm going to do this. Let's say I'm going to flip the card. During which reign of the Persian king did Zechariah begin his ministry? Got it, right? So you're getting these things. You're talking about what year does Zechariah begin preaching? Core context was the primary task of the returning exile struggling to complete all of this. And you're able to have a chance to challenge yourself on this content and to see the answer here, priest and prophet, right? So we go here. How does the message, focus of Haggai's message differ from Zechariah's message? You can see the answer. And then the same here. What's the primary rhetorical method used by Haggai compared to Zechariah? Haggai uses questions, Zechariah uses visions, right? So you can see if we were to preach the book of Haggai, he asks like a bunch of questions. Zechariah has a bunch of visions. You put them together, and 2 months after Haggai returns, Zechariah has a bunch of visions to show them the future. It's a very, very beautiful book, and when you preach it in order and it's awesome. I love the gospel. All right, so yeah, so that's that. So that's flashcards. Pretty cool. So next, the quiz. So I want to show you guys the quiz. I'm gonna get to the fun stuff, but I want to get the watch views up. Be sure you like and subscribe. Quiz. Again, here you're getting all of this. The name Zechariah is a theological declaration derived from rich two Hebrew roots. This is the quiz. So you have the flashcards to study from, the quiz to test your knowledge. If you're in college, if you're in high school, if you're in middle school, this is amazing. It's a car, and yeah. God remembers, yeah. So the Lord remembers. Zakar, yeah. Zakar, yeah. Zechariah. Yep. Boom. You see what I mean? So you can see the different ways that it's putting it together. It's kind of cool to see these quizzes that you can have to utilize to help you navigate through all the things you can have for school, for church, all of that as well, and to test your own knowledge. Next is the data table. Then I'll get to the fun ones. Last one I want to show you is the data table. So here what I did is Zechariah Sermon Series data table. So you can see the scriptures it broke down, the way it broke the text down, all of that. It's breaking down the entire book of Zechariah from the study guide, the different titles we had and we preached on, right? The themes that we talk through. And then lastly, the vision, the messianic connections, the Hebrew words. It's pretty cool to see because the goal of this series is to connect everything to Jesus. Based upon the study guide I put together at the beginning to give my church an outline, it did this. Now, this is a use case for finances. This is a use case for accounting firms. This is a use case for studying something. It's amazing what you're able to do when you put together this data table. Now to the fun stuff. The first fun thing is the infographic. The infographic you see here is where you see all the fun graphics people are making online. Let me show you how to do it. This is where I think most people miss it when it comes to Notebook LM graphics, right? When you come in, you can do a bunch of stuff. You can change the language here, right? You can choose the orientation. Do you want a widescreen image, landscape, TV? Do you want a portrait image, which is going to be up and down 4:5, right? Instagram post, think phone vertical video. Do you want a square video 1:1 ratio? This is important. Number one. Number two, visual style. Now you can prompt the style, or you can now choose some of the more viral styles that people like, right? So you can choose sketch, professional, scientific, and it's really quick. Anime, that's brand new. Clay, editorial, and structural, like all of this, bricks. So I'm gonna just have fun while we're doing this and make a brick one. Before we do that, though, so I'm gonna click bricks, and you can see the level of detail. Now, I do not recommend doing detailed that much because detailed, that's when the words begin to merge together. Standard and concise is good. I'm gonna put concise on this, and I'm gonna say talk about generational pain. Uh, yeah, there you go. So generational growth. All right, growth. Let's do growth. And before we get done, you're gonna see this, but we're gonna do Lego bricks for children. We're gonna come back to it. You can see how quick this is, and this stuff is still in real time. We're gonna click generate, and boom. So you're gonna see here it's going to start making the infographic. Boom. So we're going to see how that infographic turns out, and we'll come back to that infographic before the end of our time together. All right. So now, while we're here, we're going to go to the audio overview. Now, this is the more viral one. And so audio overview is pretty cool too. So you can see what they added here is you can do a deep dive. There's going to be a long conversation between two hosts. You have a brief where it's bite sized. So like think a long podcast, 35, 40-minute podcast, think a 2-minute clip, and that's the brief. You can have a critique where they're now going to just offer blind spots now for preachers or for leaders or for people working through speeches. I do this on my AI speech. I do this on things when I'm going to speak places. I record myself thinking and talking. I put it in here, then I tell it to critique me to get constructive feedback. And then you can, cool thing is you can have a conversation, which is pretty cool. To show like blind spots, things of that nature. Then there's a debate where it's a thoughtful debate between the two hosts, thinking about what's coming from your perspectives. And you can tell them literally what to focus on right here. Right. And you can see now as we're doing this, AI steps in and says, these are the things that you can focus on. You can choose the length, you can choose the things you want to talk through as well. And these are all going to be different for every one of you because AI is going to pick out what they think is going to have the most impact. You click generate. You can also choose a language. Pretty cool. So I'm going to exit out of this because I did one and you should be able to hear it onto the screen here.
There's this classic story about a family cooking
So
a
you can see the
holiday roast.
podcast is
Maybe you've
going,
actually heard a
right?
version
They're
of it
talking.
before.
Oh, the one
I'm
with the
going to join
grandmother and the
in.
pan.
Yeah, exactly. So
Hey there. Want to share your thoughts on this?
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is about how this affects children and their parents and what Zachariah means in that way.
that is a phenomenal connection you're making.
Absolutely. Thinking about the intergenerational effects is exactly where the source material takes us.
So you
And
can see
linking that
it's
to your
talking back to
timeline,
us. It's pretty cool.
LA.
So you can join in the conversation too. I don't know why I'm whispering because I can't hear me because I didn't click the join.
core ideation
That's what you can do.
is
So that's a cool thing about audio overview.
Source
It's a great way to
material.
study, and especially if people are learning more now, they're learning more by listening and talking instead of just having someone using this live. That's pretty cool. It stops with me, vision that outlast generations, and look again in the rebel. It's pretty cool, and to see this is Legos, how great it all kind of came, all of that, right? So it's some pretty cool stuff you're able to do directly in here. And then if I wanted to make it square, I could, anything of that nature. It's some pretty cool stuff that you can do directly inside of this. The video overview is taking a second. So we're going to come back when the video overview is done, and I'll show you guys what the video overview looks like once we get back. So this is the video that you guys can see here on the screen. It's super cool. And as you can see how the video is going as it goes, it's this really cool video that is cinematic. And I'm gonna let it play for a second so you can see the cinematic effects of this.
Emperor Cyrus issued a decree allowing the Israelites to return home after 70 years of Babylonian exile. This cuneiform cylinder records that official shift in imperial power. When the exiles reached Jerusalem, they found nothing but these sun-baked foundations.
As you can see, the cinematic effects of this video is super cool because what you get is you get a chance actually to have it animated. It's making an entire YouTube video for you, if you will, and you could download the audio if you want, take it to some other tool like 11 Labs and put your voice on it and make an entire YouTube video. It's really quick, and you get a limited amount of cinematic credits. I have the pro version of Google Ultra, and so I get a certain amount of credits, so it can run out. Like I ran out of cinematic credits today making a bunch of videos, but you can do some cool stuff with it. So all in all, NotebookLM to me is a really go-to tool, amazing tool to use. I believe organizations, students, all of you should use it. If there's another tool you want to go over, please put it in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you guys in terms of tools you are interested in, tools you want to play with, tools you want to learn more about. All in all, like and subscribe for more. I'm That Tech Pastor giving you the business for your business. Be sure you like and follow for more. Peace.